My name is Dean. I'm a person in long-term recovery from addiction, and this is Inside Addiction. Since 2008, we've spotlighted treatment options and heard the experience, strength, and hope from many recovering addicts, each in their own sense, a living miracle, a superstar. Well, today, I've got something special. My guest today is actually the superstar. Superstar, welcome to the show.
Thank you for welcoming me.
I absolutely love it.
Welcome.
And I got to tell you, as soon as he walked into the studio today, I said, I want to see your driver's license. And I can tell you, I have seen the license.
Yes, you have.
His name is Superstar. Now, Superstar, it's his legal name. He's a former owner and president. You had a successful cutting-edge computer consulting firm which you lost entirely to drug addiction. Through your recovery, you've rebuilt your life with purpose and commitment, and it's kind of geared toward anti-drug campaigning. Your involvement in music with several bands such as Kiss, the Goo Goo Dolls, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and you actually flew into Rochester today from Chicago because you're a motivational speaker now.
Right.
You're going to be speaking at some schools within the Capital District this week, Mechanicville tomorrow, Waterford Half Moon, Burnt Hill, Saratoga, and up at Shen on Friday. And I certainly hope that with some media coverage, you're going to be coming back to the Capital District, and I hope that you speak in every school within the Capital District.
That's what we want to make happen.
So, Superstar, let's get started.
Okay. Can I have my license back, please? I'm kidding.
Incidentally, he has a brother named Rockstar as well.
Yes.
It's very cool.
Yes.
Let me ask you, Superstar, why, when, and where did you first try drugs?
Great. Well, my father was a smoker, so I was very curious as to what was that giving, what was that providing him. Mm-hmm. So at the end of each journey down our long-winded gravel driveway in upstate New York, because we got a lot of long driveways out there, he would toss his cigarette butts out the window. Well, one day, out of curiosity, I rode my bike down towards the end of the driveway, picked one up, and then headed back into the woods so nobody could see me. I lit it up. There was a little bit, left there to smoke, and I took a puff, and it gave me a little rush, back then. Unfortunately, though, as I always say, addiction can happen very, very quickly for some. Sometimes they don't even notice that they slip into addiction as individuals, but for others, it could be very quick. Did I just say slow before and quick, or did I say quick and slow?
It can be slow for some people, quick for
Here
others.
Here we go. It could be slow for some people, right? Some of us don't even notice it. For me, I didn't notice right away that I was addicted to anything. For some of us, though, it's extremely fast, right? We lose everything in the blink of an eye, literally up in a cloud of smoke sometimes, right? So when I took that hit of that first cigarette, sure, I had a little bit of a rush, but I quickly found that was not going to be enough for me.
How old were you when you first smoked that cigarette?
15.
15 years old. So tobacco was actually the first drug that you experimented with.
Yes.
And how did that progress to other things?
Okay. Cigarette didn't do it for me. Alcohol quickly became the next drug of choice.
How quickly?
I would say within just a matter of a couple of weeks, I said, you know what? There has got to be something out there that's better than these cigarette butts that I'm finding at the end of the driveway, So there was alcohol in the cupboard, and my mother would work late. My father was never really there at home, so quickly after school, I would go sneak a couple shots worth. I don't know what the heck it was to this day, but I know often it knocked me on my butt to the point where I couldn't get to school the next day. My mother didn't know what was going on. I just told her I was sick. I had the flu. But, of course, when she went off to work, I'd go run and grab a little bit more. Quickly, though, my disease progressed beyond alcohol, eventually led to some pot, right?
What age?
So I was trying that around 19, 18, 19. That did not last long at all. That truly dulled my senses, and I'm a guy who is a creative thinker. I got to get out there. I got to keep moving. You know, that was slowing me down. I went then towards cocaine, which 20, you know, I was 20, and by the time I hit 21, I was already selling my possessions for crack. So, you know, sold my car. You know, in a matter of a couple of weeks, I sold everything that I had owned. You know, almost my soul at that point, because I certainly felt like I didn't have that anymore. So, and mixed in between, there was some heroin usage.
Okay.
Yeah.
You talked about selling things. Throughout the process of your addiction, what were some of the worst things that you did in order to get what you needed to get
Right.
by?
Right. Well, I'll tell you, I stole my twin brother's Camaro.
Rockstars?
I sold that Rockstars. His name is Rockstar. He's got to have a Camaro, right? So a red one to boot. So you know, I took it, and I got a little bit for it. You know, thank goodness that through a bunch of a series of incidences, he was able to get that car back. But that was a low for me, selling people's iPods and phones and laptops. I think one of the lowest points, though, for me, as I was out there using, was when I rifled through a man's digging through a man's pockets while he was on the ground having a drug-related seizure, you know, so I could get an extra $5 for another hit. So like it was in literally a crack house, right? A place I shouldn't have been, in a seedy part of Chicago. I was with people I shouldn't have been with, and there was this individual. He did a little bit too much. He's on the ground. Yeah. First thought is you'd think I would want to get the guy some help. My first thought, though,
What's he got?
you know, what's he got in his pocket? And I found what I needed to carry me over for a few more hits. And I left that place as fast as I could. So I don't know what happened to the individual. God, I hope he's all right, and I hope the other individuals, I hope they found some clean time.
So you had a computer consulting firm, pretty lucrative. What other kind of hardships? Do you have any financial hardships along the way?
Well, I mean, you know, when you smoke crack for 15 years, right? You know, you tend to blow through a lot of your cash flow. You tend to blow through a lot of other people's cash flow, but you know, my financial struggles were because at every job that I had to start, each paycheck just went towards the drugs. So I was never in a place where I could save money at all. I wish that I could have, and I tried too. You know how when you're in active addiction, some of us do try every single day when we wake up. We try to stop.
Yeah.
You know, but then we get 10 minutes in the day and already there's our relapse, so we might as well go take the rest of the cash that we got in our pocket or the bank account and blow it. So financial difficulties were self-induced. I went through a lot of them. When I finally did get sober, though, as I was going to mention before, is, you know, what happens to somebody when they use drugs for that long is they do spend every penny that they own, right? But long story short is when I did go off and I wrote my book, right, the first 30 days to Serenity, the Essential Guide to Staying Sober, and my formed a Rockstar Superstar project, which features members of KISS, Heart, Goo Goo Dolls, and Trans-Siberian Orchestra. You know, I was able to put all those projects together without a dollar to my name.
Wow.
So, and when I do travel the circuit and I go to the schools, you know, as I introduce myself and I tell people why I changed my name to Superstar, which was really to raise awareness to that dreaded beast we know of as addiction, but was also to encourage and inspire others to get out there and dream catch, you know, to chase their dreams and take them responsibly, of course, because they are theirs for the taking, and there should be no excuses. And sure, I spent all my money, But I opened up a laptop, figured it out, what I needed to do to put all this stuff together, and then here I am. So now I wake up every single day in places that I do belong, right? And now I travel the country, waking up in Marriott's. And I love it.
In hotel rooms instead of on benches.
It's true.
Or homeless shelters.
It's true.
When did you realize that you had a problem?
I can remember the moment specifically. I was driving across a bridge in Chicago, and I was going to get to go buy some crack cocaine, and I remember saying to myself, this is going to be the last time I'm going to do this. This is it. You know what? I'm just going to buy just a little more here. And I actually am. Today's the day. I'm going to stop today, right? So I go, I get my drugs, and I finish them up. And, 45 minutes later, I'm sorry I'm stuffed up today. I'm coming down with a cold. But 45 minutes later, I'm back on that same bridge in the car, heading back towards, find another ATM to go withdraw some more cash to go grab some more drugs. So, at that point, I remember being on that bridge and saying to myself, I just said I was going to stop. It's just 45 minutes later. Here I am again. Oh, crap, I think I got a problem.
So at that point, what did you do? Did you go to rehab ever, or?
Yeah, I went to rehab in Illinois, in Chicago. It was a 12-step program. It was a wonderful program. I learned a lot. A lot of people there extended a hand. They did help me. I got out. I was clean for a few months. And then quickly got back into my computer consulting, quickly made up a lot more money because I'm an entrepreneur, right? So I'm always starting companies. So with that comes money, and I relapsed. Yeah, relapsed, and then a few years later, I hit the rehab center again, which was in California. Got out a couple months, relapsed again, went back to rehab, and that stuck. The third time was the charm.
Anybody along the way ever try to assist you, help you stop? Family members, friends?
Anybody ever try to help me stop, family members or friends? The answer to that, I would say, is in the capacity in which they knew how, right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people around us that surround us in active addiction would love for us to stop, and many of them do try to get involved by saying, hey, can you stop? They're not really educated. Mm-hmm. And I had a twin brother, obviously his name is Rockstar, and he tried to convince me all the time, by hiding my cash, telling me he was going to go tell my mother, telling me he was going to go tell my girlfriend, or get on the internet and tell the world, and he thought that was going to be enough for me to decide to stop one day, and it wasn't. So that's an answer to that question.
So how has it been since you've been sober? How's your life changed?
How's my life changed? Well, it's so interesting. First, let's break down that question just for a second here. First, I want to talk a little bit about what happens to somebody that gets sober in the family. What happens to the family dynamic?
Yeah, how's
right?
that changed?
It's like the dance with addiction. No, if I'm not dancing with the addiction anymore, what's going on with the other families that now, shoot, he's not using and abusing drugs anymore. What are we going to do with ourselves?
Yeah. The focus isn't on
the
Superstar
focus isn't
no
on
more.
Superstar. Now it's a wonderful opportunity, though, for maybe some individuals to look in the mirror and maybe look for some things that they could work on.
How'd that work out in your family?
Awesome. That's why I brought it up. I thought it was important enough to bring up because it gives it provides an opening for the rest of the family to get help. So we can all circle back now during the next family gathering and and talk about things that really matter now in today's world for each of us, our jobs, our families, our careers, as opposed to, is that a superstar still, out there using and, stuff like that. So my life has changed in the family piece, in the family dynamic. It's just been such a rewarding and positive experience. Outside of that, though, professionally, of course, and personally, I wake up today not worried about where my next fix is going to be. I wake up today not worrying about how bad are the withdrawals going to be today, right? For those of you that use heroin, and which I actually suffered withdrawals from crack as well, and no longer do I have to wake up and have to look somebody else in their eyes and tell them I'm so sorry that I let you down again. I don't have moments like that anymore. Now I have moments where I wake up, I got things to do. I got to get to the gym. I got to go write another book. By the way, I got part 2 and part 3 coming out. I got to record another CD. So now instead of the guys from Kiss, I'm going to go get the guys from Metallica, for instance, So
you go from multiple trips to an ATM, blowing through a 6-figure salary as a computer consultant,
yes.
Overdosing on heroin, I'm guessing,
Yes.
going through withdrawals, crossing a bridge multiple times in one day to buy crack in Chicago, to working on a CD with Metallica.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, right? Which life would you choose? I mean, as I go to schools, and it's funny because as I go to schools, at the end of the presentation, we go through this thing about going after your goals and dreams responsibly and what that looks like, what having a purpose or a passion looks like for each of us as individuals. And I do close with, what choice are you going to make today? You could have, invite the whirlwind of doom, the devil's creation, invite him into your world by saying yes that first time you choose to use drugs, or you could simply keep that door closed and then live the life that you are here to live and that you deserve. So,
what made you get into giving back and reaching out to schools? Because you're a long way from Chicago right now.
Yeah, it was a long walk.
What made you not go back into computer consulting? Suit and tie. We talked before
question.
about working in Chicago.
Yeah.
Mr. Suit and tie,
Yeah.
and say, hey, you know what? Not only do I not want to do that, but I want to go talk to kids.
Right.
Why?
Because when I look in the mirror, that's what I see. I see a kid staring back at me. It's funny because so many people, and this is no exaggeration, it's happened more than 50 times. That part's an exaggeration. We'll say it's happened 20 times. But there have been people in this world, as they travel the country, they say the same thing. Boy, superstar, you are like a kid on Christmas morning. That's what you remind me of. And I feel like that kid on Christmas morning every single day when I wake up. I got to run down the stairs, see what gifts are under the tree for me to open, today. And that's the way I approach life. And each day is a gift to be unwrapped. What am I going to find out today? What great, awesome thing is going to happen because I'm going to work towards something today, and I admire kids. They inspire me. Sometimes they perspire me, meaning I'll sweat enough to work with them, getting them through some of their issues and ordeals. That's not an easy gig sometimes, but, as I travel the country, I always make sure that I take the opportunity to spend some extra time with some kids that have been identified as having issues out there in the community. So I love going and being part of the group, the crowd within the schools. I feel like despite what some of those teens think, at the end of the day, many of them have their backs. Many of them have each other's backs, right? So I feel like when I step into their world, well, they got my back. And I feel like that's a big sense of support. And it kind of, for me, it provides a sense of fuel for me to want to get to the next school and do it all over again. So kids are just a joyous experience. You know, many of them, it's true, many of them are still, they haven't been pulled in so many directions out there in the world and introduced to harmful and destructive things. There are some innocent kids still out there, right? And I love connecting with those just as much as I do with those that are hurting, because I think we all have one thing in common. At the end of the day, when we lay our heads down on that pillow, all of us want a feeling of love, whether it's self-love, right, or a feeling of being loved by someone. I think that that's one of our human needs, and I'm here to spread a lot of love.
What advice would you give to a kid, a teenager, even an adult that's still kind of out there, you know, sick and suffering, struggling?
Yeah. What advice? Do what you don't want to do, right? Wake up and reach out, extend a hand to somebody that you feel might be able to assist you. If it starts with you talking to your dog, that's okay. Tell your dog that you have a problem that you got to face. Tell your plant. Because once you get the strength to tell your dog or cat or plant, you can then tell your best friend or tell your mom or dad or tell somebody in the community that you feel might be able to help you. And the wonderful thing about doing that is you will be led to a whole bunch of tools that you never knew existed that will help you overcome some of your issues and problems out there.
Do you regret your drug use?
Yes, very much so. I regret my drug use in the sense that I spent and wasted 15 years out there, right? So now I'm a guy who's clean 7 years, right? This month, or actually next month, 7 years clean time. So, and I got my books and CDs, and I got things in the works that you don't even have a clue. I mean, I got big things, right? The only thing I don't have in the works is my logo being painted on the moon. But I'll figure out a way to
give
get
it some
that done.
time,
Yeah,
right?
give me some time.
It's Superstar.
Give me some time to figure that out. But, you know, had I not wasted those 15 years, gosh, how far would I have become? How far could I have gone, you know?
And I think it's sometimes we look at, you know, we get stuck on, you know, how far we have to go as opposed to how far we've already come. I'll have 7 years in July.
Right.
And it's an absolute miracle every day.
Kudos to you.
Me
Man.
too.
Right, yeah.
What keeps you going every day?
Yeah.
And what prevents you from going backwards?
Okay, what keeps me going every day is the teens, right? They are my fuel. Listen, I've also become a life coach for not just teens. I have celebrity clientele, right? I've been on the road with some of the world's biggest bands as a sober companion. Those opportunities, opening up my laptop and seeing these emails coming in from the legends that were once on my poster is reason enough. Posters on the wall, you know, is reason enough for me to decide to say, hey, I'm going to go to bed sober tonight again, because God knows what tomorrow's going to bring, something awesome and cool as well. And, you know, the wonderful thing about me, listen, I'm a big fan of support out there. We got AA, NA, we got, you know, the other 12 steps that have, you know, come from those things. There is no magic silver bullet. I wish that there was. Those things work for a lot of people. Wonderful, awesome. I created this thing, this enterprise called the Rockstar Superstar Project, in a sense, to be my AANA program that is around me, you know, all the time. The reminder of recovery, the reminder of where I was and where it is that I'm going surrounds me the moment that I wake up, because it's my business. I made my business all about recovery. I've made my business about going after your goals and dreams. You know, I've made my business to educate others about the disease of addiction, you know, and the predispositions and the world with a doom that happens for 1 in 10, you know. I mean, there's 107 people that die every single day from overdoses in this country, And in 2006, I was 4 minutes from death, barely hanging on to my life. You know, so I'll remember those things, and if I do, I will continue my sobriety. The moment that I start getting complacent or I forget about those things that happen to be out there is the moment that trouble starts brewing and the back door of my mind is going to open up, and then I'm off to the races. I don't want that.
In one sentence, what's the message that Superstar tries to put out there?
One sentence. Always love, always encourage, and never let despair get in the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.